There is Tetra Pak equipment and engineering in cheese factories around the world, including this one. We're in Clovis, New Mexico. The Southwest Cheese Company is one of the largest cheese production facilities in the United States.
The plant currently takes in 11 million pounds of milk every day, and that number keeps growing. Today, this factory will turn that milk into 1 million pounds of cheese and whey protein. Added up, that's over $300 million in sales a year.
Let's take a quick tour and see how Southwest Cheese and Tetra Pak make it happen.
The Southwest Cheese Factory makes American-style cheeses, including cheddar and pepper jack. It also produces whey protein powder, which is used in a wide variety of food products. A key in producing the highest quality cheese and whey protein is involving the most experienced equipment suppliers and engineering minds. And that's where Tetra Pak comes in. There are 5 main steps in cheese processing: receiving, standardization, curd production, draining and salting, and cheese block formation. The cheese process also creates whey as a byproduct. Years ago, whey went to waste, but now it's used to make high-quality protein and food products. For many cheese plants, whey production is the key to profitability. There are 3 major steps in whey production: concentrating the proteins using filtration, evaporation, and drying. This efficient process allows companies like the Southwest Cheese Factory to produce tremendous results. The receiving bay is where it all begins. Large tankers come in, some holding up to 65,000 pounds of milk.
They unload an average of 230 semi-loads of milk every day at this plant.
And we're talking fresh milk. The typical milk that comes into this plant has been out of the cow only 6 hours before it's turned into cheese. Milk is pasteurized during the standardization process. Pasteurization kills bacteria and makes the product safe.
Southwest Cheese uses an HTST process, which stands for high temperature, short time. It takes just 16 seconds to pasteurize the milk.
That efficiency makes it possible for this plant to process 11 million pounds of milk a day.
But every customer's needs are different. That's why Tetra Pak engineers custom design each pasteurization process to meet both the customer specifications and the requirements set by the Food and Drug Administration. The innovative design and state-of-the-art controls of the Tetra horizontal cheese vat has many advantages.
Standardized milk is pumped into the cheese vats. Each vat can hold up to 71,000 pounds of milk. To help thicken the milk, a coagulant called a rennet is added and then stirred.
The dual shaft system creates a more consistent cheese with less fat loss than vats that use just a single shaft. When the blades rotate one way, they act as a knife cutting through the curd. If they rotate the opposite direction, they stir and agitate to suspend that curd into whey. This dual feature blade helps ensure a uniform curd is achieved. The horizontal design of the vat distributes heat more evenly than a vertical vat.
The result, Tetra Pak shirping vats retain an industry-leading 97% of the fat. That means more cheese and more profit for our customers.
The next step is a fully enclosed, fully automated conveyor belt system, the Tetra Shirping cheese curd draining conveyor, and the Tetra Shirping salting mellowing conveyor.
At Southwest Cheese, the belts process 35,000 pounds of cheese per hour.
Tetra Pak has belts that can handle as much as 50,000 pounds per hour. The Tetra Shirping cheese curd draining conveyor is where the curds are separated from the whey. The process is so efficient, the curd is de-weighed by the time it's traveled only 2/3 of the way down the belt. The custom-designed features ensure there is minimal curd damage and relatively little fat or moisture loss. The flexibility of the conveyor belts, the use of the horizontal agitators to gently stir the curd, and other Tetra Pak innovations create a consistently higher quality than alternative suppliers. Once the curd is ready, it goes to the Tetra Shirping salting mellowing conveyor. Salting may sound simple, but there's a lot of engineering that goes into our system. The salt is applied 3 times as the curd moves along the belt. The precise amount of salt, gently stirred at just the right time, enhances both the flavor and moisture of the cheese. Both conveyor belts and the cheese vats can be controlled by a single operator, a huge advantage because a very large quantity of cheese can be processed with a very small amount of labor. The cheese is nearing its final stage when it enters the 35-foot-high Tetra Table block former. While it's easy to see the end result, it's what you can't see, Tetra Pak engineering, that makes it all possible. A transfer vacuum brings the cheese into the top of the tower. A second vacuum then pulls the cheese down the tapered, perforated stainless steel construction inside. This guarantees a very uniform block with sharp, clean edges and consistent weight. A guillotine then creates a smooth 43.5-pound block of perfection, which is then bagged, vacuum sealed, boxed, and sent to cold storage.
When it enters the cold storage warehouse at Southwest Cheese, the temperature of the cheese is 90 degrees. 24 hours later, the temperature is 55 degrees.
1 million pounds of cheese come into the Southwest Cheese warehouse and go out every day.
The production of whey powder is a major source of profit for most cheese producers. Even though the milk was pasteurized, cultures have since been added, so the whey is pasteurized once more, again using the HTST process. Filtration purifies the high-value proteins in whey by removing the residual sugars, salts, and fats in a series of sophisticated filtering processes. The resulting product is whey protein concentrate, or WPC, with a protein content of up to 90%. WPC 35 contains 35% protein and is similar to skim milk powder. It's used in a wide range of snack foods, beverages, and desserts. Higher protein WPCs from 55 to 80 are used in products such as nutritional and diet drinks. Evaporation is the next step. This is where water is removed from the whey permeate. With an eye on keeping production costs down and product quality up, Tetra Pak engineers have optimized the use of 2 evaporation technologies at Southwest Cheese. In the mechanical vapor recompressors, giant fans literally squeeze water out of the whey permeate. In thermodynamic vapor recompressors, steam is used to boil away excess water. In order to ensure the longest possible production run times, a dual feed system is incorporated in the design. While one tank handles the evaporation, the second tank is automatically cleaned. The two tanks switch back and forth, which allows the equipment to run for extended periods of time. The water that's removed is called cow water.
Milk is 87% water, so there's a lot of water to reuse and recycle.
Tetra Pak engineering uses 35% less water than a traditional plant design. So it not only saves the customer money, it's good for the environment.
After evaporation, the whey concentrate is still 30% water.
Turning it into whey protein powder requires one more step.
This dryer is approximately 90 feet tall. That's 9 stories high. Tetra Pak builds dryers as tall as 170 feet.
The whey concentrate is pumped to the top of the dryer. High-pressure nozzles then atomize the liquid into tiny droplets. Tetra Pak uses natural gas burners to heat air up to 450 degrees. This air is then pumped into the dryer. Even at these high temperatures, careful design of the dryer allows the concentrate to be dried efficiently without the heat causing damage to the delicate proteins. By the time the concentrate falls through the drying chamber and onto the shaking bed, it's a powder with just 10% moisture content. The shaking bed then removes the final moisture and also cools the powder. If powder is too warm when packaged, moisture could reform. The final whey powder has less than 5% moisture. Producing the highest quality cheese and whey product efficiently as possible is really what makes a plant today profitable.
We're at the end of our tour. We really just scratched the surface, but we hope you have a better idea of how cheese and whey protein products are made.
We hope you have a better understanding of how Tetra Pak CPS enables our customers to produce cost-effective and continuous processing of quality products. Our decades of experience allow us to provide the engineering and the project management expertise with top quality processing equipment.